Amigos de Gol 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 de Guate, te traigo ahora la conferencia de prensa del entrenador de Jamaica, Este McClaren, después de haber perdido contra Guatemala 1-0. Grandioso gol de Oscar Santis. Esta conferencia fue publicada con el permiso oficial de Concacaf. Así pues que aquí los dejo con estas palabras. He puesto la traducción al español de sus declaraciones para que los que no entiendan inglés o el difícil inglés británico puedan leer lo que dijo este entrenador en la conferencia de prensa. Empecemos.
Welcome to the post-match press conference with the Jamaica national team head coach, Coach Steve McClaren. I remind you that for questions you can raise your hand and introduce yourself with your name and media organization to the one you represent. The media that are present virtually can request their space by touching the raise your hand button. We will now open the floor for questions. Yes?
Nick Webster, Inside World Football. Coach, what do you think the difference was in mentality between the World Cup qualifying game and tonight?
I think a massive difference. I think ultimately that's always the thing that wins a game. And we expected a reaction from Guatemala after the other night. We would do exactly the same. That's what we've said to our players. Friday we need a reaction. We knew they'd come at us. We knew they'd be aggressive. I thought the atmosphere was great. It was obviously against us, but that was a test for our team. And I think they credit, because with the crowd behind them, I think they fought like lions. They really had a big desire to win that game, to win the duels, to be aggressive, to really be in our face. And we got through the first 30 minutes, but we switched off just for a moment. Didn't deal with quite a simple ball and went a goal down, and it's always going to be difficult then. And with something to hold on to, that's what they did. We knocked at the door. We did everything we possibly could. We had crosses going in the box. We had efforts on goal. They had blocks, their shots. And for them, it's a perfect response from the other night from us. It isn't. What we've got to do now is turn that around and make sure that we react on Friday and make sure that we prepare properly. And really, the reaction is we have to win on Friday and a little bit impose ourselves and make sure we do.
Coach Jose Adrian Duran with Fútbol. What would the focus be on the training pitch heading into Friday, and what would the emphasis be that you would try to go ahead and fix for the game on Friday?
I think it's the key word in every game at the beginning. You have to have an aggressive mentality that overcomes everything. So when you're the underdog, which obviously after the first result, Guatemala felt that, and they performed like underdogs. They fought like mad. We have to do the same. So people talk a lot about tactics and this formation, that formation. It's about players, and it's about being aggressive, winning duels, getting the basics right. And credit to Guatemala, that's, they must have been seething after that first game. You could see that. And I thought we'd coped and dealt with it. And once you go a goal down, the first goal is always important. They had something to fight for and hold on for. The blocks, the headers, the clearances that they had. We tried, but the first 20 minutes was so important. We've got to make that the first 20 minutes ours in every game.
Hi, Coach. Tyler Wise from Underway. Antonio got some playing time at the end of the game there. How was it to see him finally back on the pitch?
It's, yeah, we said he trained with us 2 weeks ago in London. We said then it was a miracle. And he's trained 2 days with us and he's come on the field and, you know, that's, you know, from where he was after the accident to be playing, to be walking is a miracle. So we're delighted. You know, we need that kind of leadership. We'll build up his fitness as much as we possibly can. So it was good to get him minutes on the field. Didn't turn into a fairy tale, but he didn't score.
Hi, Steve. John Arnold here. I wonder if you could share your impressions in general of what it's been like in CONCACAF. This your first Gold Cup game. You mentioned the atmosphere. Now you go into a game where we expect the atmosphere will be quite different. How do you prepare your players not only for the Gold Cup vibe of sometimes it's full of Guatemalan fans, maybe next time it's more Jamaican fans and Guadeloupe fans, we'll see obviously, but also in World Cup qualification where there's quite different atmospheres. Kingston is very different than Guatemala, which is very different from Santo Domingo. How have you found it and how have you kind of managed those challenges? Yeah, it's, you know, from the first day I arrived, this has certainly been an education for me in terms of everything, the culture within the island of Jamaica and getting used to the different types of surface that we come across in the Caribbean. That's been a challenge. We've had these kind of games a few times. We had Honduras away. We had Nicaragua away. Hostile atmospheres. I think it's great. And I think we were talking about it earlier, what I see. There's never an easy game in this CONCACAF. The South American teams are really aggressive, very good technique. The Caribbean teams are very strong, powerful, a little like ourselves. The football is totally different, and you know we have to adapt to that. I've loved every game. It's been a great challenge. And we knew this one would be exactly like it was. You know, we saw them beat Dominican Republic when they had to, 2-1 down at half-time. So we know they're fighters. We know they never give in. And that's what they did tonight. And, you know, we couldn't overcome that challenge. But I got to say, I think, you know, the top teams, I think the rest of the Caribbean and in CONCACAF as well, teams are catching up. Teams are catching up, and that's I was involved in the plan with FIFA 3-4 years ago, in terms of analysing countries, and we talked about one of the biggest keys to developing countries and narrowing the gap between the top and the bottom was coaching. Coach the coaches, you make better players. And I think that's what the region has done, CONCACAF. It's certainly, no easy games. Everybody now is coached very well. Even the smaller teams defensively are hard to break down, well organised. So I think the football is narrowing from top to bottom. So we will see in this competition. Again, there's no easy games.
Thank you, John. Let's take a virtual question. Jason Hall, go ahead.
Yes, Jason Guna TV here. Coach, just wanted to ask about a few players that I didn't see in the lineup tonight. And I just wanted to get some clarity on the status of Mason Holgate and Isaac Hayden moving forward in the tournament, as they were not named tonight on the squad.
Yeah, unfortunately, Isaac, he came down with stomach cramps and respiratory problems before the BVI game. He didn't play in the BVI game. We pushed him to play against Guatemala, and after the game he complained of, again, stomach cramps and respiratory problems. We investigated and found that we had to send him home, and we replaced him with Kieroy Anderson, who hopefully will come in today. The other one, Mason Holgate, got a knee injury against Guatemala, and upon a scan, the medial ligament was just not much of a problem, but he wouldn't be fit for 2 or 3 weeks. So we sent him home, and replacing him with Sulai McKellar from Mount Pleasant. So that's why they weren't involved.
Thank you, Jason. The last question we'll take is from Matthew McAnuff-Jones. Go ahead, Matthew.
Good evening, Coach. Commiserations.
Good evening.
Isaac Hayden's injury, it was a big blow for the team today. He has the ability to play with his back to the play and dictate tempo. How did his injury affect the team in position today, and how do you plan to adjust moving forward, given that he's not available?
Isaac Hayden is not in the squad. How do you plan to address this moving forward?
You know that 6 has always been a problem. I know in the past we've had Damien in there, who defensively is, as we saw today, and I thought we needed today in there was some aggression and someone who could break up play. He certainly did that on a few occasions. So we looked at that, and we do have a problem in that position. I think Latz came in the second half, did very well in that. Great attitude. But we certainly do. So, yeah, that is a problem. We always known that when we don't have Isaac, so it's a big loss. But we have to deal with that, and somebody has to step in and step forward, take the mantle, and help the team in that position.
Gol, gol, gol de Guate.